welcome back. So this is episode 3. I'm still at Tony's place, as you can tell by the fact I'm wearing the same shirt. And we're now at the range. So in the last 2 episodes we've gone through initial purchase and the options there, without going too much into things, because we have we've got a series of videos elsewhere going into choice and scope choice and things like that in quite some detail. And we've also got another video on zeroing, haven't we? Which is here at this range, exactly where you are now. Yes. So we don't need to go into the exact process for zeroing, but I wanted to have this as a complete series and go through at least showing that we are setting these things up properly. So this is directly following on from what we were doing in the other episode with the gun on a mount, setting up the scope in the mounts, and just setting up everything very loosely. So this is the bit we alluded to in that video, saying we were going to go and do the next stage and set it up properly at the range. So that's where we are. Tony, what are we doing?
Thank you, Richard. Right, basically what we're doing, we're going to ensure that the scope itself is horizontal to the rifle, as in the crosshair is horizontal to the frame of the rifle. Mm-hmm. And we're also going to check that the eye relief is correct for you, from the back of the scope obviously to your eye. Yeah. This is where, I mean, it's better for you to do it. I'll basically set it up but leave it loose, pass the rifle over to you, you have a quick look at it and just tell me comfortably if the eye relief is correct.
This is the thing, we're zeroing and setting up it's to the person as well as to the rifle, isn't it?
Absolutely, 100%.
It's not just that's how you set up scope for that rifle, it's...
No. What's right for me and what feels correct for me might be completely different for you.
It's even down to that shape of your skull and things like
that.
Yeah,
there's a variety of things that can be thrown into the mix. So all we're literally doing now is referencing the top of the block, which or even the back of the block, depending on the rifle you're looking at, which should be level, and then you can, from that reference point, just look up and down, reference the crosshairs to the rifle, and make sure that your 2 horizontal planes are basically the same.
And as you mentioned in the other longer zeroing video, if this isn't set up so that the crosshairs are vertical to your plane when you're holding it, it's going to make that zeroing process a lot harder, isn't it?
It will make the zeroing, obviously your centre crosshairs will be in the same place, even if your scope is 45 degrees out, the centre of the cross will be in the same place. The minute that makes a difference, let's say for argument's sake you're zeroed at 20 yards, and then you're trying to shoot at a target that's 30 yards away, you then want to start using the aim points that's provided usually within the scope. Now obviously if you're off centre, that's going to make you twist the rifle, which puts the centre of the optic and the centre of the barrel out of line, so the pellet won't be going in the direction you think it's going to go. It'll go left or right.
It's one of those, it's a bit like trying to work out the orbit of the Earth. You've got to sort of think about 3 things lining up at the same time.
You've basically got to stop and think about several things at the same time. So I'll just make sure that the base mount is tight enough for now, so it's not going to slide up and down on the rail. And working in diagonals, I'm just going to gently clamp down the rear mount. Never go side to side. Always try and work in diagonals, and you're always going to get a little gap at the base of the rail on both sides. Try and keep it equal. It just looks nicer.
You do hear horror stories about people with cheap scopes and the wrong size mount crushing the scope tube, and
easily done. Now again, as I said, mate, nothing's massively clamped down tight. I'm about to pass the rifle over to you. If I can ask you just to get comfortable with it, pop your cheek onto the cheek piece and just check everything's all nice and clear for you.
Okay. Yep, I've got it. I've got it.
Tell me if you want the scope moving forwards and backs. Easily done.
It's actually quite... I'm trying to keep both eyes open. That's about right. I can see just the inside of the tube itself.
Yeah.
With a closed left eye, I've got a crisp sight image.
Yeah.
But I haven't got the sort of shading, the vignetting. That's
that's it. That's what you want to avoid. Any sort of black crescents coming out from the left and the right, you want to try to avoid that.
Yeah, I can literally I can see the edge of the glass.
Yeah.
Which is normally a good sign. And with both eyes, that stays the same. The lose, I get just the outside of that. But yeah, I think obviously I might change this when I see how it is when I'm shooting,
Yeah,
but for
yeah.
now, for at least for zeroing, I think
this
I'm
is
there.
It's correct for the seated position. That's the thing. Obviously, any other sort of positional shot, it might be ever so slightly out. So if you do take most of your shots prone, you'll certainly need to adjust it for yourself at that point.
So this is something that, if you are going to using scopes and away from the open iron sights on that might come with your rifle, or if you're going with something like this that has to have a scope, this is something you need to be comfortable with, isn't it? How
Oh, it is, absolutely.
the setup works.
It's that age-old thing, and I've said it several times before, that you must make the rifle fit you, not you fit the rifle.
Yeah.
So you're not picking up the rifle and squeezing yourself around to try and see it. Ideally, nice and comfortable, relaxed, even with your eyes closed. Bring it to your face, open your eye, and you should be able to see straight through the scope nice and clearly.
Yeah.
No work involved, just natural.
Something you should relax whilst doing as well. It's like the best. Someone said to me once that it's like if you think about a word for too long, it starts to sound weird.
Yeah.
The spelling seems weird, and you go, "Is that right?" If you think about it too much, sometimes every angle will look weird. Everything will look a bit blurry. It seems what you just said about just bring it up to your natural shooting position and close your eyes and just open as you expect, and everything should be where you expect it to be.
That's it, all nice and natural, no
Yeah.
strain, everything in the right place.
But don't
Where
overthink
should
it.
be. Don't overthink it. If you're having to hold it there for so long and you're back and to and thinking, just stop. Put it down, let your eyes rest and bring it back. And we should be spot on every time. Okay, next job is to zero the scope. Which we have covered before.
We have covered, so we're not going to go into too much detail on this. So there was a link below in the video for the zeroing video itself, where we go into this in exactly the same place and what Tony's going through here. So for now, we're just going to skip through with maybe some music and go through the zeroing and set this rifle up.
That'll do.
So how many rounds left in that magazine?
Should be empty now, I think.
So it's 8 shots, and you've...
Yeah, 8 shots, and it's easily done in 8 shots.
I think you were done by 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And that's a brand new scope out of the box. And literally, we're filming these videos one after another. That was mounted fresh out of the box on top of the rail. We walked across the yard with it all covered and everything to the range, shot it out of there, and that's 6 or 7 shots and zeroed. And I just watching it walk onto the target. Zeroing doesn't have to be difficult, does it? It doesn't have to be too.
No, absolutely, absolutely. The clicks and the settings on the scope, they're not that sensitive. You aren't going to break it by winding it around a little bit. You'll get people who go 1 or 2 clicks and they'll see very little change and they get disheartened. Don't worry. Don't strain it, obviously. Don't force it round. But a few clicks, fire. A few clicks, fire. Do the old 3-shot rule if you're happy doing that, and then away you go.
And we're pretty much zeroed.
Pretty much zeroed, yeah.
Okay. So there's no pressure doing this on camera at all. Luckily, I'm the one doing editing, so I can make it look like I hit it every single time.
Yeah, there's only a few thousand people hopefully going to watch it, so there is absolutely no pressure at all.
Over there. Let's go. Okay. So this is literally the first time shooting this rifle.
Nose in and left to right, that's it.
What's the pin back? Oh, it's pressure. Okay.
Yeah, there we go, little BB holding it in place, pin forward to locate the mag. Yeah.
There we go, that's it.
That's it.
That wasn't cycling up. Another pin forward.
Right. No pressure, mate.
That was for the lower target, by the way.
Well done. That's it, belly robotic, all the way back, all the way forward.
Okay, so it's a stiff mechanism. New gun.
All the way back, all the way forward.
It's for Lee Enfield.
Basically, what the bolt is doing on this particular rifle, the backward stroke is cocking the mechanism. The forward stroke indexes the magazine and loads the pellet.
Is it coming up to it now?
Yeah, doing well. Taking the centre out.
Is that 8?
I think that's your 8th now. There we go.
Okay. Magazine out. Safety on. Gun down.
Cool.
I need to get used to that. The hold on it. I never shoot from sitting down, so that's a weird one.
That's it. It feels strange doing that.
I'm angled through.
Yeah.
I can feel it on my shoulder now. It handles nicely. It's got a nice feel to it. I'm glad I've gone through this one.
It's a nice positive action.
It's getting used to that, but it does.
Yeah. You've got to be robotic about it. Up, all the way back, all the way forward, down.
I once fired a Russian World War II rifle.
Yeah. The gun.
Yeah. And it feels exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very positive action. It seems it's a very classical action, but that's just specific to this gun. The process we've gone through there. There's a ragged hole down at the end of this range.
Yeah.
What range are we shooting at here?
We're about 18 metres.
Okay, so
it's fairly close.
I could have hit that target with a ping pong ball maybe from here.
Yeah,
so just need some time on this rifle and working through. But looks like the grouping. We'll take the camera down in a moment to actually see what it is. It looks like I'm about 30 mil.
Yeah.
Grouping from one side to the other.
Do bear in mind, of course, the rifle's also only had 16 pellets through.
Yeah. Not a lot of lead through that.
Not a lot of lead through the
And we're firing on that's RWS Superdomes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
a good go-to pellet. Nice dome shape. We've covered pellets previously, but it's a nice dome shape. They're not going to break the bank. A nice, good quality, easy-going pellet. Use it for everything.
Yeah, but there is a thing that we discussed this off camera earlier about pellet choice, and there's a whole world you can go into.
There's a plethora of things you can go into. Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, the rifle you use will tell you which pellet is best for it if you've got the time to try a few through.
Would you recommend just buying 2 or 3?
It's worth it, yeah. But go 2 or 3 different brands. Don't stay with. So RWS makes some fantastic pellets. Don't get me wrong, but I would recommend, for instance, going for, let's say, an RWS, maybe a H&N, and then maybe a JSB. One of those many families of pellets that they do.
So put the time in and get some shots through.
Yeah, see what you think.
Okay, and this is, you can come to a range like yours here, you've got literally across the yard from the shop.
Yeah.
Is most people, if they have a garden of some kind or a range, I'm guessing they want to put the time in at home if they can.
Ideally, yes, absolutely. It's practice. Before you go against anything vermin-wise, make sure you know every shot where that pellet's going, at whatever range.
We're going to talk about the options for shooting permissions and shooting outside and that kind of thing in another episode, but I wanted to, for setting up a range at home, there are a few things you want to, I suppose, take care of. One is, before anything, is safety.
Absolutely, safety. Make sure that pellet, once you've shot it at your target, make sure that pellet doesn't continue going. Let's say worst case scenario, it continues through your nice bit of fence work, carries on through your neighbour's garden, and then ends up going into their conservatory. Yeah. We don't want to be doing that. Let's have nice solid backdrops. Wood at the worst, metal is better. Even sort of a sandbag type idea, earthen bank. Keep it safe. And
also, if you live in a built-up area, you want to stay on side with your neighbours. First of all, maybe mention if it's you're suddenly going to be shooting in the back garden. Maybe mention to them that this is what you're doing.
Air rifle shooting in the back garden does have a certain nuisance factor. Yeah. Don't be doing it for too long.
No.
And ideally, get your neighbours on side.
Yeah. And if you're in terms of targets and that kind of thing, is we've got some dots on bits of paper. That's all we needed.
That's at absolutely rudimentary level. Even a plain piece of paper, shoot at it and then use your first pellet strike as your aim point.
So now just time to put some practice in here and then go home with the range, set up the range and practice, because I want to get to the point before this goes anywhere near hunting that I want to be able to be consistent in shooting within a 25mm grouping minimum.
Absolutely, 100%.
The 50p piece was always the...
50p piece or a 2p piece is always a good way to look at it. If you make sure every single one gets within that.
Unless you can put money on the fact that you're going to hit that thing.
Yeah, don't shoot at it. If you can't get a clear headshot, the animal's won. Walk away.
Yeah. Right. Well, time to put some more practice in. This is one of a series of videos that we're producing. The aim is to go through all aspects of buying an air gun for use in the UK, from going to a gun shop and choosing a weapon and choosing an air weapon and choosing what you want to go with it, right through to at the other end hunting and even game preparation and cooking over an open fire. So if you haven't already, if you can go along and like this video and subscribe to our channel, then you'll get the new episodes. They're coming out about once every 2 weeks. Then we've got quite a lot of stuff to go through with these episodes, so hopefully there'll be something there for you and something to keep you entertained. The videos are also supported by Tony and Tony's Camo, so if you want to come along to the shop here, which you're just on the outskirts of Chester, literally just over the Welsh border, aren't you?
Literally, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you can come along and speak to you and get advice from you and see the range of things you have here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got pretty much every aspect of air guns.
We try to cover pretty much everything. We are airgun specialists. We try to cover everything airgun related.
Yeah, and you're a UK registered firearms dealer as well.
We are RFDs, yes, that's correct.
So you've got all aspects of that covered. You've also got the range here, so that if you want to come and zero or come and try something out, you've got the range here.
As long as we've got space on the range, I'm happy for people to try things out.
Okay, so thank you for watching. I'll see you again next time. I've got a couple.